Yo, welcome back, y'all, to Yin Vision, the most positive place on the internet. Today, I want to talk to you about, man, I gotta say, this one hits home because everybody I know does this, and I do this too. It's toxic patterns, okay? Toxic patterns means you are doing something that is toxic, and you need to stop doing it, okay? It takes time to recognize it. Someone else probably will tell you you're doing it. Usually they don't tell you that you're being toxic, but they usually tell you you're doing something ridiculous and you need to stop. It's very toxic. You can kind of tell. You can kind of tell it's toxic. After a while, you'll notice it. You can't unnotice it. It's one of those things you can't unnotice. So my toxic thing, I'll give you an example. My toxic pattern. My toxic pattern is I beat myself up and dwell on a situation that I believed could be done better, like a product, right? I have a procrastination issue as a result of that. My procrastination issue comes from me dwelling on a past product, on a past thing I did, a past thing I made, and I'm beating myself up about it because I'm like, man, I built this whole thing up in my mind. I could have done it this way, that way, this way, that way, but I chose this way. And I dwell on it. I think a lot about it, and it's really, really unhealthy, right? And it took me a long time before I realized I was doing it. And so I've taken steps to resolving that and fixing that and changing that behavior. But again, this is one of those things that's subconscious, right? It's a subconscious pattern you do. Like, this is something that is embedded in your personality or your mental framework, right? From years and years and years. It's one of those old habits that die hard. That's what they talk about when they mean by toxic patterns and old habits dying hard. Those two things are connected. Those are the same, almost the same thing. You are doing this thing that you didn't realize you're doing. It's not really a pattern if you don't do it over and over again, right? And if it's toxic, everybody will notice it eventually. They'll be like, hey, you're doing this thing. Why are you doing this? It's not normal. Stop, right? And so it takes time. You have to recognize that you're doing it. That's the first step. And then the second step is accepting the fact that you have to change it. It's for you, not for anyone else. For you. You should be doing it for you. You're doing it wrong if you're doing it for other people. Not that you shouldn't stop it, but I'm saying if you're trying to stop it for other people, you're only gonna do it again, right? You're only gonna repeat that pattern again. It's gonna take you time to really understand why it's bad for you, right? And why you need to stop, and that you really do need to stop, right? That's the whole point of the toxic pattern, is something that is eventually going to poison you in your life, in your everyday life. People will walk away from you. You're going to be more unhappy. You're going to get into that cycle of negativity I talked about all the time. And you will spiral out of control, right? You will find yourself in a more unhappy life, right? And you want to change that before it happens, before you become, this person who you're not proud of, right? You want to live the best you can, right? This is life. This is your life. You want to do the best you can. You want to have the best experiences. You want to have become the best person you can be, right? And so it's fine that you have it and you recognize it and you are working towards fixing it. Just make sure that while you're doing it, you are checking in on yourself. Hey, how much progress have I made on this thing? Kind of ask the people you trust the most in your life, the people who are close to you in your life. Ask them, hey, have you noticed this thing lately? Oh, no? Okay. Check in with them, check in with yourself, look in your journal, your log, if you write a journal, which is why I recommend writing a journal. Maybe I'll talk about that in the future. Write down, your notes on how you're doing. Do that thing I talked about before, where you do the mental checkpoint and see how you're going, and kind of understand that this is a lifelong thing. You're not going to be done, right? You're never going to be quote unquote done. It's always going to pop up in a more subtle way. And so you just have to be tuned into it. You have to be attuned to your own bad habits. So that's it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing special about it, nothing extravagant about it. Just, it's work that needs to be done. Do the work. I know it's very vague, but because toxic patterns, they're so varied. I mean, there's a whole ocean of toxic patterns out there. People have issues where they don't believe people. They don't have they have trust issues, which I've talked about that before. That's another episode you can watch, with betrayal and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do a special episode on just trust. Maybe that's what I'll do in the future. But yeah, it takes time, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, just understand that, you know, you are a continued work, and you will be okay. You will be better. Every day, work towards it. Every day, working towards becoming better and better and better and better. And you will find yourself a completely different person 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And that's it. But that's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comment section below. Appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye.